Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English with Shadowing, the podcast, the place where we don't just learn English, we live it. Here, you will practice real English the right way, slowly, clearly, and with confidence. In each episode, you'll listen, repeat, and connect English to your daily life. No fast talking, no long grammar rules, just real phrases, real examples, and real progress. We use a powerful method called shadowing. That means you hear a sentence, and then you speak it out loud with me. Just like singing along to a song, you train your brain and your mouth at the same time. It builds your fluency, your memory, and your speaking rhythm, naturally. So, if you're tired of forgetting words, feeling nervous when you speak, or stuck in your vocabulary, this is the place for you. Now, get ready, relax your mind, and let's grow your English, one sentence at a time. Leo Morgan was 13 years old when he found the watch. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon, just after school. The sky was gray, and the wind smelled like rain. Leo lived with his grandmother in a small wooden house at the edge of town. The house was full of clocks. Big clocks, small clocks, wall clocks, desk clocks. His grandfather had been a clockmaker. He had passed away before Leo was born. But his work remained. The clocks still ticked. All except one room, the workshop. His grandmother never let him go inside. "It's full of sharp tools," she said, "and old things that should be left alone." But that day, the door was open. Just a little. Leo hesitated. Then he stepped inside. The air smelled of oil and wood. There were gears on every shelf, dusty notebooks, and strange machines Leo didn't recognize. At the center of the room stood a long wooden workbench. On it lay a red velvet box. Leo opened the box. Inside was a pocket watch, silver, heavy, beautiful. Its face had no numbers, just 12 small stars and 2 golden hands. A fine chain curled beside it like a sleeping snake. Leo picked it up. It was cold at first, but then it warmed in his hand. He pressed the top button. Click. The watch started ticking. But something was strange. The hands moved backwards. Leo stared at it. The second hand ticked in reverse. The minute hand followed. He brought it close to his ear. Tick, 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 backwards. Suddenly, he felt dizzy. The room spun. The light changed. When he looked up, the workbench was different. Clean. The notebooks were gone. The dust had vanished. Outside the window, the sky was brighter, and the sun was rising, not setting. Leo rushed out of the room. Everything looked the same, but it felt younger. He heard a laugh, a man's voice. Leo turned the corner and froze. There, sitting at the kitchen table, was someone he had only seen in photos. His grandfather, alive. Leo backed away, heart pounding. His grandfather looked up and smiled. "You all right, kiddo?" Leo couldn't speak. "You're probably looking for Sarah," his grandfather continued. "She went to the market." Leo's mind raced. Sarah was his grandmother's name. He ran back to the workshop. The watch was still ticking backward. He pressed the button again. Click. Everything shimmered. Light changed. Voices faded. When he opened his eyes, he was back. Dust, silence, empty kitchen, the present. That night, Leo couldn't sleep. The pocket watch sat beside his bed, quiet and closed. He had traveled back in time, only for a few minutes, but it was real. He had seen his grandfather, heard his voice, felt the warmth of a moment that no longer existed. The next morning, he told his grandmother. She sat very still, holding a cup of tea. "You went into the workshop?" "I didn't mean to." "And the watch?" Worked? Leo nodded. She looked at him with tired eyes. That watch doesn't keep time. It steals it. But I saw him, Grandpa. He was alive. I know. I saw him too. Once. Leo waited. She took a deep breath. He built that watch before he died. Said it was his masterpiece. A clock that didn't just measure time, but moved through it. Why didn't you tell me? Because once you start using it, it's hard to stop. Leo promised not to touch it again, but that night he did. He pressed the button and went back. Just 5 minutes. Enough to watch his mother sing to him as a baby. 10 minutes. Enough to see his father reading on the porch. 15. Enough to hear their voices, alive and clear. He didn't try to speak. He only watched. And when he returned, the silence of the house felt heavier than ever. The past was too beautiful. The present, too quiet. On the fourth night, something changed. Leo pressed the button. Click. But instead of light, there was darkness. Instead of warmth, cold. He was still in the house, but it wasn't the same. The walls were cracked, the windows broken, the clocks were silent. Then he saw a figure, standing in the hallway. It looked like him. Same eyes, same face, but older, tired, and afraid. The figure spoke with a voice like wind through trees. Stop using the watch. Who are you? Leo whispered. The part of you that forgot how to live? The watch clicked again. Leo was back, breathing fast, sweating. The room was normal. The walls were fine. The clocks ticked. But something was different. The watch was glowing faintly. On the back, a new mark had appeared. First warning. Leo didn't touch the pocket watch for 3 days. He kept it in the red velvet box under his bed, wrapped in an old scarf. But even hidden, it seemed to call to him. Late at night, when the wind moved through the trees, he could almost hear it ticking. Tick, 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 backwards. And each time he heard it, he remembered the voice, that version of himself standing in the hallway, older, colder, warning him, "Stop using the watch." But the questions in Leo's mind kept growing. Why did his grandfather build the watch? What was the first warning? Could he use it? To change something? One morning, curiosity won. He opened the box again. The silver surface felt warm. He pressed the button. Click! The world shifted. This time, he was careful. He didn't go back far. Only 20 minutes. He stood in the hallway, watching himself eat breakfast. His grandmother hummed as she poured tea. Everything looked so normal. But Leo noticed something. A book. It was sitting on the table. An old photo album. When he returned to the present, he looked for it. It wasn't there. "Grandma," he asked, "did we ever have an old photo album? With a green cover?" She paused. "Yes, but I burned it." "Why?" "Because some things are better forgotten." Leo didn't ask more. But now, he knew what to do. He went back again. 30 minutes. This time, he waited until his past self left the kitchen. Then he quietly stepped inside and took the album from the table. When he returned, he had it in his hands. The cover was cracked. The pages were yellow, but the photographs inside were clear. Smiling faces, family picnics, a wedding. And then, toward the end, things changed. A picture of his father standing next to a man Leo didn't recognize. The man wore dark glasses and a suit. His face was serious. His hand rested on a small black box. On the back of the photo, a note in faded ink. H.M. Prototype Meeting. March 1991. Leo frowned. H.M.? Was that someone from his grandfather's past? He flipped the next page and froze. It was a newspaper clipping. Morgan family tragedy. Car accident leaves son dead, parents missing. His own name was circled in red. Leo sat for a long time, staring at the words. He had been told it was an accident, that his parents died in a storm. No details, no real story. But now he saw the truth, or at least part of it. They were missing. Not dead. Missing. Maybe the watch could help him find out what really happened. The next evening, Leo waited until his grandmother was asleep. He packed a flashlight, a notebook, and the pocket watch. He took the photo album, too. Then he pressed the button. Click. This time, he went back 12 years. He appeared near a familiar street, but the cars were older and the trees were smaller. A baby cried in the distance. The lights in the houses were soft and golden. He walked carefully, avoiding people. Then he saw it. His old house. He walked to the window and looked inside. There they were, his parents, young, alive, laughing. His mother was holding a baby, him. Leo's heart ached. He stayed until the lights turned off. Then he returned to the workshop behind the house. The workshop looked different, new, clean. Inside, he found something strange. Another pocket watch, but this one was gold. He touched it. Nothing happened. Then he heard a sound. Footsteps. He hid behind a curtain. A man entered. Not his grandfather. Someone else. The man from the photograph. H.M. He walked to the table and opened a notebook. Leo squinted to read the title. Temporal Relocation. Notes on Manipulating Linear Time. Before he could read more, a door opened. Another man entered. It was his father. Leo gasped quietly. You said it was safe, his father said, but she's sick, and I think the watch did it. Your son is fine, H.M. replied calmly. But yes, the prototype has effects. You need to destroy it. I can't, said H.M. We're close to understanding everything. Leo's father grabbed the notebook and threw it to the floor. You're playing with people's lives. And your father started it, H.M. replied coldly. Don't bring him into this. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Lights flashed red. They found us, said H.M. Take your family and go. What about the research? I'll handle it. Leo watched his father run out the back door. Then everything went white. He returned to the present, breathless. He sat in the attic, notebook shaking in his hands. He now knew 3 things. His grandfather had built the first time watch. Someone named H.M. took the idea further and possibly used it wrongly. His parents ran to protect him from whatever the watches could do, but there was more. On the back of the notebook Leo had seen, one sentence burned in his memory. Time bends for no one, but it always remembers who tried. That night, Leo found a second warning on his silver watch, etched softly beneath the first. The more you take, the more it takes. The next morning, Leo woke up with a single thought. Find H.M. He had seen the man in the photo, heard his voice in the past. H.M. wasn't just a stranger. He was part of his family's story, part of the watch's story. And maybe he was still out there. Leo began searching. He checked every old newspaper in the town library, searched online for names, photos, anything connected to the initials H.M. Nothing useful came up, until one afternoon, while walking past an antique shop, he saw something strange in the window, a silver pocket watch, just like his. He rushed inside. The shopkeeper was an old man with a crooked smile. Looking for something special, boy? That watch in the window, where did you get it? The man shrugged. A man sold it to me years ago. Said it was a gift from a friend. What did he look like? The shopkeeper chuckled. Hard to forget. Tall, quiet, wore a gray suit, dark glasses, very polite. Didn't look a day over 30. Leo's heart skipped. Do you remember his name? Said I could call him Mr. H. Leo stared. Has he been back? Not in years, but I've seen him around town now and then. Always looks the same. That night, Leo sat by his window, watching the streets. At midnight, he saw him, a tall figure in a gray coat, walking slowly down the empty road. Leo ran outside. Wait! The man turned. His face hadn't changed at all. Same as in the photo. Same as 12 years ago. The man looked at Leo with tired eyes. You shouldn't be using the watch, he said softly. Who are you? Someone who made mistakes. You're HM. That's what your grandfather called me. Leo stepped closer. Why haven't you aged? HM smiled sadly. Because I stepped outside of time a long time ago. They walked together in silence. HM led Leo to an old greenhouse behind the town's abandoned library. Inside, there were clocks hanging from the ceiling, ticking in strange rhythms, some backward, some frozen, some spinning. At the center, on a stone table, sat a golden book. This is where your grandfather and I worked, HM said. Why? Leo asked. Why build something that controls time? We didn't want to control it, just understand it. He opened the book. Inside were diagrams, notes, and sketches of the pocket watch. Leo saw his name written in the margins. You knew I'd find it. Your grandfather left it for you. He believed you'd use it better than we did. Leo sat down. My parents. What happened to them? HM was quiet. They tried to stop me. Your father warned me that the second prototype, the gold watch, was dangerous. Was he right? Yes. Leo's hands trembled. Did you hurt them? No, HM said quickly. But I didn't help them either. I let them run, and time swallowed them. Leo felt cold. You mean they're still alive? Somewhere in time, yes. Maybe trapped. Maybe hiding. Can I find them? HM looked at him. Maybe. But every time you go back, you lose something. Leo showed him the 2 warnings on the back of his watch. HM nodded. First time, you lose sleep. Second time, memories. Third time, what happens? You stop aging, like me. Leo's eyes widened. That sounds like a gift. No, it's a prison. Suddenly, the clocks in the room stopped. All at once, Leo turned. A dark shadow stood in the doorway. It looked like Leo, but not quite. Older, colder. The same version he had seen in the hallway weeks ago. You're wasting time, the shadow said. Who are you? Leo asked. I'm what you become if you keep running backward. HM stood between them. He still has a choice. Do I? Leo whispered. The shadow vanished, but something had changed. The air felt heavier. The golden book trembled. HM handed Leo a small key. This opens the watch, the real watch. Inside, there's a piece of your grandfather's memory. His last message. Leo nodded. Where is it? HM looked into the darkness. Buried, where time began. That night, Leo wrote in his notebook. He had more questions than answers, but he now knew 3 truths. The watch was built from love and guilt. HM had once been good, but let obsession guide him. His parents were lost, not to death, but to time itself. He opened the watch. The warnings had changed again. Now they read, 3 warnings, 1 choice. What you seek will cost what you love. Don't become me. Leo stood at the edge of the forest, the key tight in his hand. He had followed HM's directions, north of the town, past the river, behind a hill shaped like a sleeping lion. There, hidden beneath moss and stone, was a small trapdoor. It opened with a soft click. Stairs led down into the dark. At the bottom was a stone room. In the center, resting on a pedestal, was the real watch, larger, older, gold and silver, mixed like sunlight and shadow. Next to it, a glass box held a memory crystal, glowing faintly blue. Leo inserted the key. Click. The watch opened. The crystal lit up, and his grandfather's voice filled the room. Leo, if you're hearing this, I'm gone. I built the watch to preserve moments, not to rewrite them. But HM wanted more. He believed time could be shaped like clay. He wasn't entirely wrong, but he forgot something important. Time remembers, and it punishes those who try to escape it. Leo held his breath. You may want to go back, to fix things, to save your parents. But remember, every second taken must be paid for. Even love has a price. The message ended. Leo looked at the watch. He could feel its power, like a storm waiting to be unleashed. He had one chance, one jump. He could go back to the day his parents disappeared. Try to save them, warn them, or just be with them, even for a few hours. But HM's face flashed in his mind. You'll stop aging. Like me. It's a prison. And then the shadow's voice echoed, what you seek will cost what you love. Don't become me. Leo closed his eyes. He remembered his grandmother's smile, the scent of her tea, the old house, the life he still had. He had already learned the truth. Now, did he really need to change it? He placed the watch back on the pedestal. Tears ran down his cheeks. Goodbye, Mom, Dad. He took the crystal memory, not to travel time, but to remember them. He sealed the chamber and walked out into the rising sun. Years passed. Leo grew up. He studied clocks and machines, but he never built another time device. He lived a quiet life, but with deep understanding. He never used the watch again. Instead, he told stories to students, to friends, to children, about time, about choice, and about the value of letting go. One day, when Leo was old and gray, he visited the antique shop again. It was empty now, but on the counter sat a sealed box. Inside, a silver watch, ticking backward, and a note, for the one who remembers. Leo smiled. Some lessons come late, he whispered, but they're never too late to matter. He placed the watch in a museum with a small card. The clockmaker's secret. Do not open unless your heart is ready. Time is not a toy. It is a teacher. The end. And that's it for today's practice. You didn't just listen. You spoke, you felt, and you connected with real English. If you enjoyed this session, don't forget to come back tomorrow. We'll have more powerful words, real-life sentences, and simple steps to help you speak English fluently and naturally. Remember, the more you listen, the more you repeat, the more you live with English, the more confident you become. So keep going. You're doing great. And I'll see you again in the next episode, right here on English with Shadowing, the podcast. Until then, keep speaking, keep learning, keep believing.